This was my first art car project, the Big EV.
Ночной стритрейсер, трасса мой дом. Давим на газ, идем на таран. Danger Zone, это наш легион.
Compared with my other builds,
The Tesla with an EA888 swap, the wide-body white Volkswagen, and the wide-body BMW M3, this is probably the one you've never seen, because it was only really famous in China.
but in China alone, this thing pulled more than 200 million views. And more importantly, this was the project that gave me the creative direction I still use today, turning internet memes into real machines. Meme to Metal started here. So first, let me explain the Chinese meme behind it. It started with the Wuling Mini EV, a tiny electric car that sold 2 million units in 5 years and became a phenomenon in China. At around $4,500, it was the cheapest car you could buy in the country. The basic version of this car didn't even have air conditioning, and the range was only 120 kilometers. But because it was so absurdly cheap, it became a household name. And just to make things stranger, it was a joint venture product between GM and Wuling in China. So Americans couldn't buy one, but somehow it still had a tiny American connection. At the same time, it became a sort of loophole in Shanghai. For more than 30 years, if you wanted to own a car in Shanghai, you normally had to bid for a license plate at auction, and the plate alone could cost around 100,000 RMB. Electric cars were the exception. They got a green plate for free. So naturally, a huge number of young people in Shanghai went out and bought the Wuling Mini EV. Very quickly, Shanghai decided to close the loophole. The new rule was this. To qualify for a free green plate, the car had to cost more than 100,000 RMB and be longer than 4.6 meters. And at that point, the internet completely lost its mind. The most famous meme from that moment was this image. On the picture, it says 100,000 RMB, 4.61 meters long. Someone had simply stretched the Mini EV. Right, this is funny. Why not build it for real? So, in just 1 week, we turned an internet meme into a real drivable car.
Now, a lot of people think stretching a car is simple. You cut it in half, weld in some steel, job done. It is not that simple. The real first step wasn't cutting. It was figuring out where to cut. Because get that wrong, and everything after that goes wrong as well. The structure, the wiring, the interior, the strength, even the shape of the body. In the end, I chose the middle of the door area, where the structure was relatively simple and there were fewer components. The Mini EV was finally cut into two, but that was only the beginning. The difficult part was putting it back together in a way that felt factory-made. The sill, the side structure, and the floor are all complicated forms that manufacturers stamp as one piece with huge industrial tooling. You cannot just patch that with a flat sheet of metal and hope for the best. I didn't just want it to look like a stretched car. I wanted the structure and strength to remain as close as possible to the original, because from the very start, I never intended this to be a static prop. I wanted people to sit in it, and I wanted it to drive like a real car. The fabricator spent 2 full days designing and making the extension pieces by hand. The hardest part was the side sill. To make it look natural, our master fabricator had to shape it bit by bit on a bending machine until the curve matched the factory body almost perfectly. Then we welded those new sections into the body and chassis, added fresh steel panels, put in reinforcement tubes, welded, ground, and finished the whole thing. That was the moment the Mini EV truly started becoming the Big EV. And then we arrived at the most ridiculous part of the whole project: the doors. I didn't turn it into a normal 4-door car because that would have meant developing far too many new parts, and we simply didn't have the time. So instead, we chose the solution that matched the spirit of the project perfectly. Since the original image was made in Photoshop, we decided to do a sort of physical Photoshop. We stretched the original doors as well. And just like that, an ordinary mini EV really did become a big EV. But I didn't want to build something that was only funny to look at. I wanted to think about it like a real product. Because if a car company genuinely launched a longer version of a tiny EV like this, what would the selling points be? More space? More entertainment value? More sheer conversation value? And at that time, China was encouraging people to have more children in order to slow population aging. So the ad idea practically wrote itself. 3 kids, a family of 5, plus both sets of grandparents. 9 people in total. The joke was that once the car had been stretched to 4.6 meters, it could somehow seat 9 people.
Wow, you can really dance. Wow, you can really dance. He went. They said we've both been dancing all this time. What a coincidence.
I had another advert idea too. With only 2 doors, this thing would make a brilliant mobile shield for the police. So the tone of that commercial borrowed heavily from American movies.
大哥，警察来了，怕啥？有我在。 有支援！烧烤太猛了，有人中弹。电视剧，他们来了！真的来了！大哥，他们叫人了，怕啥？来一个，我杀一个！ 大哥，他们叫了好多人，不行，咱降了吧。那好呀。
From that point on, the project finally felt complete. It no longer looked like a prop. It looked like a car that might genuinely have existed as a production model. In the 2 weeks after we released the car and the commercials, it passed 100 million views. It spread quickly across China and overseas, and became one of the most iconic pieces of Chinese car culture in 2021. But more importantly, it proved something to me. Sometimes the most absurd internet jokes are hiding a real user demand. People may not literally need a stretched mini EV this extreme, but they were clearly waiting for a small EV that was a little bigger, a little more practical, and still a lot of fun. And that is what Mean to Metal is about.
Taking crazy ideas that only exist on the internet and turning them into metal, into machine, into reality. So that's it. I'm Black Ma. Subscribe, and next time I'll show you an even more unreasonable car. Bye.